Hello, my most amazing artists. Today we're going to create snowmen based on the expressionist artist Edvard Munch. So today what we're going to do, you're going to need paper, Sharpies, crayons, oil pastels, or markers. Whatever you have available will work. So I'm sure you're familiar with the famous painting, The Scream. And we're going to be recreating The Scream using a snowman as our main character. So let's go ahead and get started. First, what we're going to do is need our paper and our Sharpie. So I've got those two materials ready to go. We're going to start with our composition as always, kind of creating what we are going to be drawing. So first, let's begin with a horizon line, which essentially divides the sky from the water and the ground. So in this picture, about 3 or 4 finger spaces from the top, we're going to create a wavy horizon line right near the top. Great. Now what we're going to do is we're going to find a good spot where our snowman is going to end up. Normally in the picture, The Scream, the character is right to the right side of the paper, and that's what we're going to do here as well. So what I'm going to start with is the head. So about 2 or 3 spaces below, I'm going to make a kind of unusual snowman shaped head. This one's going to kind of have a longer, kind of more pointed face. So there's my beginning of my snowman. Now we're going to go ahead and create the arms that are kind of framing the face with that iconic scream, kind of like the Home Alone scream, right? So let's go ahead and start by just making an upside down letter U here. And I'm just going to frame the face coming all the way down, and I'm going to stop over here on this side. On this side, I'm going to do the same thing, upside down letter U. This one I might make a little bit different just for variety, and I'm going to come down and I'm going to stop again right about right below the chin. Now I'm going to think about what shape my body is going to have, and again, it's kind of a distorted picture, so I'm going to kind of give it a more unusual shape than normal. And now I'm going to connect the rest of my arms by coming down to the side and on this side as well. So now we have our arms. All right, so now what we're going to do next is we're going to create, you can add the snowman's buttons. Again, keeping it kind of simple for the actual snowman is probably the best. Now we're also going to give it the iconic smile in the center. Just gonna, while I'm here, fill in all of these little shapes black. And now I'm gonna work on the nose. So normally you wouldn't see a carrot nose in this picture, but because we're creating snowmen, we are going to make that carrot nose that you're so familiar with seeing. And we're gonna kind of make this a bit of a pointed carrot nose, I guess you could say. And I'm just gonna add some little lines there to make it more like a carrot top here. There we go. And now the eyes, which are basically an oval with a dot in the center. And I'm going to create this little like shadow underneath. It's kind of that, you know, haven't slept at night kind of a situation here. We're just going to fill in some of that black right underneath the eyes. Next, we're going to create the top hat. So I'm just going to connect these shapes all together simply by making a line on this side, another line on this side, and whatever kind of tall kind of hat you want to make. So there's my hat shape. All right, so now what I'm going to do is fill in some of these shapes with my Sharpie. You can use your Sharpie to color in some portions of this, or if you have some crayons or oil pastels, work really great for this as well. I'm just going to shade that in, knowing that that's what I want for that color over there. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to create the rest of the scene that's kind of behind the screamer or the snowman in this case, and it starts with a vanishing point. A vanishing point is somewhere on your paper that emphasizes perspective. So we're going to create some perspective where things in the front are close, and much larger, and the things that are in the back are smaller and further away. So to create that, we're going to just kind of tilt my paper to the side, and starting in the corner, that is the left-hand side of your paper, we're going to make a diagonal line that kind of ends up right behind the hat, and it keeps going right off the paper. You kind of want it to line up. Great. Now we're going to add another vanishing point line here. So here's the vanishing point. It disappears off the edge of the paper. And here's where it starts off smaller and gets bigger. So it's going to kind of end up looking like the letter V. So here I'm coming down, and you can come right off the paper that way. Awesome. Now we're not done with our lines, because this is creating the bridge that you see your snowman on. So now I'm going to also add a third rail that's right down the center. And we're going to add some vertical lines that are going to be the railing. So I'm going to come over here, add a vertical line and another vertical line, not too far, probably like a finger space away from each other. But remember, now we're moving into an area where they should be a little bit further apart. And then finally, down here, you're going to see another railing down this end. Great. Now over here is the bridge. But because we did a snowman, which is normally the bridge is brown, but because we're thinking snow, you might want to add some snow kind of feeling to that. So we'll talk about that. And in behind here, we have still this portion behind is what was a body of water. So we're going to create some more organic looking shapes behind here. And the same thing, there's like another spot over here that we're just going to make for our watermarks. And finally, in the sky, I'm just going to create some horizontal lines kind of spanning across the sky. So now we have our composition. It is time to think about the colors and the coloring. So remember, you can use a variety of materials, whatever you have available. Again, I recommend oil pastels. They blend really nicely, but if you don't have them, never worry. You can always use what you have. You can change up the colors if you want to. It's your picture. If you want to change it to a black bridge, or if you want to change it to a different color, that's up to you. I'm going to kind of stick with the traditional colors from the original artwork. So I'm just going to stick with brown, but again, think about some variety. I'm going to color in between these two lines. So I'm just kind of outlining and then coloring in the spaces. So I'm outlining the bridge. And see, I went off track there. That's okay. Just fill it in. And now I'm just going to finish coloring this line and make this a little bit thicker. So now I've got my bridge. And again, I'm going to think about how I want to fill in my hat. If I want to use black oil pastel here again, or if you have markers or whatever you're using, I'm going to add that to give some texture. Definitely want an orange carrot nose here. I'm going to create some yellow eyes. So I'm going to use a yellow crayon or pastel, whatever you have, right over there. Great. And now we can start thinking about adding in your background. Here's where you can get more creative, clever with your choices. So I'm going to show you what it looks like to have kind of that snow background and then the water and the sky. Now, in the original artwork, you probably noticed there was a red sky. Apparently, there was a volcano that erupted and near Norway, where he was from, and it turned the sky red for a year. And that's why the individual was screaming. But in this case, you get to be the artist. So you get to decide what color sky you want, what color water you want. It's really up to you. So here is an example of where the water's in the background. I have some gray and blue to highlight snow on the bridge. And then I did keep the red sky in the background. So it's up to you again, the color choices that you use. The original artwork sold for over $120 million. So you never know, but you are in good company here creating your very own version, snowman inspired The Scream. Hope you enjoyed. Keep on creating.